After years of living in the United States of America, I am moving back to Japan. Now, I am a Japanese. I was born in Japan and I grew up in Japan. How I ended up in America is kind of a wild story. But first and foremost, the main reason why I am going back to Japan is because I miss eating ramen noodles. Well, that is actually just one of many reasons. Back to my wild story. Growing up in Japan, I had a pretty normal life as a kid, but everything started to fall apart when my parents suddenly got divorced. Naively, I absolutely did not see it coming. I used to feel so sorry for my classmates whose parents were divorced or if they were from a single-parent household. But when it happened to my own parents, I could not believe it, and I did not take it well. My heart was utterly shattered. I think I was like 11 years old and did not know how to cope. And heck, I did not even know what to think. I got so depressed. Divorce wasn't the only thing. There were many other things. Like I had these boys in my class. They didn't like me because I was from Tokyo. You see, I grew up in Tokyo, but when I was 10, my family moved to my father's hometown in the south of Japan in this absolutely hopeless countryside town. Imagine if you grew up in New York City, but suddenly you've had to move to countryside of Idaho or something. Well, that's what happened to me. The world felt like a labyrinth of dark shadows. Every breath was heavy with whispers of despair, and part of me longed to vanish. What pulled me back from the edge? It was music, anime, and books. Music that became my heartbeat. Anime that painted futures I couldn't see. Stories, pages of manga, light novels that let me scream, weep, and dream in worlds where I wasn't alone. They didn't just keep me going, they were saviors, lifelines. And it said, winter always turns to spring. Stay and see what happens next. They gave me hope when I had none. Slowly, they awakened something in me. A dream so big it began to pull me out of the shadows. It made me want to live again. At the time, I was really into Japanese Vocaloid music. But then I discovered all the music from outside of Japan. I was hooked, especially all the hip-hop music from the United States of America. Somehow, I could relate to music and messages in the lyrics. My stepbrother and sister, who's like 15 years older than me, were all into hip-hop. And they taught me all about history of hip-hop, like the experience of African Americans, how they had to survive horrible things like slavery and racism. But to fight against all of it, they invented completely new styles of music like blues, jazz, rock, soul, R&B, and hip-hop. Ever since I moved to countryside of Japan, all my new classmates decided to not like me just because I was from Tokyo. They would call me Tokyo boy or laughed at my Tokyo accent. Stuff like, Tokyo boy talks funny. Hey, say that again, Tokyo boy! School life was pretty awful. But when I think about Kendrick Lamar, you know what he had to go through growing up in the mad city of Compton? Maybe I should be grateful that at least here in Japan, nobody's carrying a gun. Anyway, I was obsessed with discovering all the music and cultures of the US. It sparked something in me, and I came up with this crazy big dream of going to America and becoming a music producer. I found myself a guitar teacher and learned guitar and started to produce music with my laptop. Then I came up with another big dream. You see, I was always a daydreamer, and when I daydream, I always come up with these random stories in my head. So I started to jot down these stories in my journal every day. Eventually, I started to write a novel using those stories. And I said to myself, I want to be a novelist. I am a huge fan of Japanese light novels. Like I love That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. I think That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime is better than Dante's The Divine Comedy. It's a modern day classic. In any case, coming up with these dreams and fantasizing myself achieving my dream became my obsession. Looking back, I think that's how I tried to escape from reality and the pain I was in. That was my coping mechanism. I just had no idea how I could possibly move to America though. But then one day, I was introduced to my uncle's best friend. Let's say his name is Hiroki. I bonded with Hiroki because he used to be a semi-professional music producer, and Hiroki lived in the US. He's from Japan, but he went to the US to get a university degree from UC Berkeley. Then he was employed by a company called Google, and now he lives in San Francisco. I told him so passionately how badly I wanted to go to America, like with all my freaking passion. Hiroki said, well, my friend's wife is a junior high school principal in California. If you want, maybe I can talk to her and see if they can accept you as a student. Are you for real? So, long story short, about a year and a half later, I actually came to the US as a junior high school student in California. They even found me an American host family. I got to live with them for free in exchange for helping out around the house, teaching their kids Japanese, and showing them how to play guitar and make music using just an iPad. That's how my life in America started. My life in the US has been really hard. It was much harder than life in Japan. My English was so bad, I had to study so much just to be able to communicate. I couldn't even order a sandwich in the beginning. But I realized that life was harder, but then I was a bit happier because here I was trying my best to make my dreams come true. Like Luffy's going to be the greatest pilot no matter what. It's like how they say, it's the journey, not the destination. I've learned the hardships and joy can come at the same time. After high school, I moved to Boston, Massachusetts to attend Berklee College of Music. But I ended up dropping out in the middle of my first semester. Even with a partial scholarship, the tuition was just too expensive. And honestly, most of what they were teaching either wasn't what I wanted to learn, was stuff I already knew, or things that I could easily pick up from YouTube. So I quit. I found a teaching job at a local music school in a suburb of Massachusetts where I could afford a cheap apartment. That's when I officially started my career as a music producer. I was sick and tired of being a student. I just wanted to start actualizing my dream. 2 years ago, I made my debut as a VTuber. I've kept writing my novel, and every one of the song lyrics is based on the story, my original series, Tale of Dreamers. You can check out my songs on Spotify and read the manga adaptation on Webtoon right now. I've learned so much and grown so much in the US. You know, I wanted to see the world. I wanted to learn a different language and communicate with people from different parts of the world. But now, it's time for me to go back home and realize my ultimate dream, to publish my Japanese light novel in Japan, find Japanese manga artists to collaborate with, and continue to write my music for the novel. I still like America, but ever since I arrived, this country started going a different direction than I expected. Things have become kinda hostile, especially if you are here as an immigrant. And I just cannot bear one more day without eating good ramen noodles. Life without a good ramen restaurant is pure misery. So, it's time to go back to Japan. I did the most important part of the growing up here in America. And I have not been back in Japan ever since the day I left Japan. I know that I am Americanized, and the reverse culture shock that I'm gonna have to go through when I go back to Japan will be intense. But it's time. This is the start of a new chapter in my life. So I am going to start making YouTube vlogs like this one from now on, documenting every step of the way of how I go back to Japan and rediscover my country. Everything I discover in Japan, I will show you with vlogs, and how I try to achieve my dreams. All the successes and failures, joy and sadness. Maybe my journey will inspire you. At the end of the day though, it is all about ramen noodles.